Greetings everyone. Today we're going to explore solving multi-step inequalities. Now, the nice thing about this lesson is you know how to do all of this from previous lessons. We're going to use the same steps from solving multi-step equations. And then we're going to use the previous information of how to graph an inequality on a number line and whether we use a solid or open dot. We do have this foldable. You might have already filled it in, but it's the flip-flop foldable. And what we're going to fill in here is just remembering that we want to write the variable first, then the inequality symbol, and then the number, right? So we want to do that so it helps us graph, it helps us read the inequality and understand it the best. Below that, let's talk about the flip-flops. The flip-flops are just an analogy. If you need to pause this video to jot this down, please do so. But we're really just saying if the variable's on the right, you want to flip-flop everything, meaning flip the letter and the number and the symbol. Now, the next note sheets we would like to have looks like this. If you don't have it, you can definitely write this in your own notebook. Just pause when needed. All right, let's talk about the golden rule of inequalities. Again, we've learned this before, so this should be a reminder. When you multiply or divide by both sides of an inequality by a negative, you must flip the inequality symbol. So important. Again, I'm not going to get into the whys and logistics in this video, so if you're interested in diving deeper, send me an email. Now let's go through the steps of solving a multi-step inequality. First, you want to get the variable by itself. You want to follow the same rules we followed before. So remember that acronym, don't call me after midnight? We're still going to use that. We're still going to use that acronym to help us remember our steps. Step 2, when you look at your answer, you want to check the order. Do I need to flip-flop? That's what I'm asking there. So maybe say flip-flop question mark. Next, on the number line, we want to circle the number. Here you need to decide if it's going to be open or closed. And lastly, we want to shade appropriately. So remember, you can zigzag, you can shade, you can go up and over, but we want to make sure we're going the right direction. So again, all previous understanding. Step 1, if you want to look for solving multi-step equations, if you need more help. Step 2, 3, and 4, if you want to see solving 1- and 2-step inequalities, that'll help as well. All right, down at the bottom of that foldable, we have an example we're going to look at. So as before, draw a line down the symbol. Please, or excuse me, D, don't. Don't is distribute. Don't have that. Call is combine. Don't have that. Me is move. Ooh, I do have a move. Should I move the 1x or the 3x? I'm going to move the 3x because then I can make it positive. The 5 falls down, the 13 falls down, and I now have 4x. Next is at, which stands for add and subtract. I'm going to subtract the 13. Do not move the 5. You can't leave it empty on one side, right? Think of it like a scale. All right, the 4x falls down, symbol falls down. I now have a negative 8. Midnight means multiply or divide. So we're going to divide both sides by 4. The x falls down, symbol falls down, and I have a negative 2. Our next step, check the order. I do have to flip-flop, okay? Maybe write a reminder, I'm flip-flopping here. So I'm going to write the x on the left, the negative 2 on the right, and I'm going to point to the right. See how I flipped the entire thing? Next, let's talk about graphing on the number line. It's an open circle if it's less than or greater than. It's a closed circle if it has or equals to. Well, I've got or equals to, so at negative 2 on my number line, I'm going to have a closed circle. Make it obvious. And it says x is greater than negative 2. So we're going to go towards the greater numbers. All right, now in this foldable, we also have some examples. Again, if you don't have these, just jot them on your own paper. Our goal is to go through the steps of solving. Now, I might go kind of fast through the solving piece because that's previous information. If you need more help with that solving, then make sure to see previous videos. So we're going to start off with distributing. Remember the acronym, don't call me after midnight. It's just a helpful tool. So I'm going to distribute a -2. -2. See how I did that? All right, next step is combine. Yes, I can combine a +5 and a -14. That gets me a -9. Everything else falls down. Next is move. I only have one letter. That's good. I have no move then to do. Add or subtract. Yes, I'm going to add 9 to the other side, which gets me to a 24. Everything else falls down. Careful, that's a -8x. And lastly, yep, we've got a multiply or divide. We're dividing both sides by a -8. Because remember, when things are next to each other, that's multiply. Look what happens, you guys. The x falls down. I've got a -3, but look what I did here. Do you see? I divided by a negative. There's our golden rule. This sign is going to flip. See how I did that? When you divide by a negative, you flip the sign. All right, our next step says, do I need to flip-flop? And I do. I need to flip-flop because I need to write my letter first, then my number, and flip the sign. See how it's the same? It's just a reflection of it, really. Let's graph. At -3 on the number line, I'm going to have a closed dot. And I'm greater than, so I'm going to go to the right. All right, let's take a look at the next one here. Example 2, line down the symbol. Don't forget your acronym. I don't have any distributing, so we're going to skip that step. I don't have any combining. I'm going to skip that step. Move. I can move a letter. See how there's 2 of them? So yeah, let's move a letter. Instead of +5n, I'm going to -5n. Oh, so it goes away there like it should, but it also goes away here. Still follow the steps. Falls down, falls down, falls down. We have no letter left. Remember, from equations, that means this is special. So we're at the point where we need to decide, is this true or false? Okay, well, let's take a look. Is 9 less than -1? No, that's not good. That's not true. So this is false. If it's false, we have a special answer. That answer is no solution, meaning there's no number in the world that'll make this inequality work. If there's no solution, you get to skip the graph because there isn't one. There's nothing to graph. There's no solution. So this only happens if all the letters disappear. Let's take a look at another one. Use our acronym, don't call me after midnight. We do have some distributing first. So I've got a +21p and a +18, and everything else falls down. Next, combining. I do have combining. Yep, I'm going to combine the +18 and the -7 to get a +11. Everything else falls down. Move. Yep, I've got a move to make. There's a p on the left and a p on the right. I'm going to move the 1p because it's smaller. I like to move smaller numbers. Instead of 21 pizzas, we now have 20 pizzas. And everything else falls down. Next, we're going to add or subtract. Yep, I'm going to minus the 11 over to the right. The 20 pizzas fall down, the symbol falls down, and careful, that's a -29 minus 11, which is -40. And lastly, yep, I've got to multiply or divide. I'm going to divide both sides by 20. The p falls down, the symbol falls down, and I've got a -2. The 20 was positive, so there's no special rule. The p is on the left, so there's no special rule. Look at that nice, clean answer. -2 on the number line. We're going to have a solid dot on -2, and p is less than, so we're going to go left. So this is sort of your stereotypical perfect inequality problem that followed every step. Oh, look at this doozy. Again, if you do not have the foldable, pause, write it down, try it out. I'm going to go through these steps kind of quick, okay? Oops, I always think please, but our acronym is rude. Don't call me after midnight. All right, let's start with distribute. Yeah, I have to distribute twice. First, I have a -2k plus 24, watch your signs, and then I have a -5k and a -10. Did you see how the signs stayed there? Everything else falls down. Next, combine. Oh my gosh, I got a lot of combining. All right, let's look at the left. The left side, if I combine k's, I have -7k's. If I combine numbers, 24 minus 10 is 14. Look at the right side. I can combine on the right. See how I'm underlining to match them? -9 plus 4 is -5k's. And the symbol falls down. All right, move. Move. Yes, I do have a move. I have to move the 7k. I can't move the 5 or my right side's empty. That's why we draw that line, you guys. You never want an empty side. And some of you need to practice that, okay? So instead of -7k, let's add 7k. I kicked it over. The 14 falls down, the symbol falls down, and I now have 2k. Add or subtract. Ooh, I don't have any add or subtract. Get to skip that. Multiply or divide. Yes, I'm going to divide by 2. Instead of 2 times, it's divide. I've got a 7. The symbol falls down and the k falls down. All right, I do need to flip-flop. To flip-flop, the k comes first, the symbol flips, and then the number. All right, on our number line, we're dealing with the number 7. We're going to have an open circle, and we're going to go to the right because it's greater than 7. All right, one more sort of algebraic one that we're going to look at here. Something unique is going to happen. Let's use our acronym. Remember, that's the cell phone acronym from solving equations if you need to go back and find that. All right, distribute. Yep, I've got to distribute. I'm distributing a -5, which gets me -5n and +25. Got to watch your signs or it might mess up the rest of the problem. Everything else falls down. Combine. Yep, I've got a 7 and a 25. Both positive, so they'll combine to get me a 32. Everything else falls down. All right, next, move. Yep, I do have a move. Instead of -5n, I'm going to add 5n. Oh, here's one of those special ones. Look what happens. I still want to see everything fall down, though. The 32 falls down, and the 32 falls down. All righty, you guys, we can stop here. See how the letters went away? This is special. So now we need to decide. Remember, we decided before. Is this true or false? Is 32 greater or equal to 32? Yeah, it's or equal to. So that's true. 32 is equal to 32. So special answer here, we're going to write, and we've done this before, infinite many solutions. Now, if you want to do a graph, what that means is it's the whole graph. So you would just be shading everything. Okay? I am more worried that you understand the words. That means any number in the world will work. All right, example 6 is our last example. It's not a typical equation. We have to make an equation first. We're talking about a rectangular banner. It's 18 feet long, and we have 48 feet of trim. All right, well, let's see. If this side's 18, then this side's 18, right? We know that. And if we're talking trim, we're talking the length around. What's that called? You remember? It's called perimeter. The perimeter of a rectangle is equal to every side added together. And if we simplify that, that means there's 2 lengths plus 2 widths. Alrighty, well, we can fill in some of this. We know that our goal perimeter is 48. We know that our length is 18. And I don't know my width, right? That's what are the possible widths? That's what we're trying to find. Now be careful, we have no more than 48. Could I use less than 48? Yeah, I could use less than 48, but 48 is the biggest, the greatest amount that I could use. I physically don't have more than 48 feet. So look at how I wrote that. 48 is the greatest amount of material I have. So let's solve our inequality. 2 times 18 is 36. We're going to minus that 36 to the other side. This is just an easy 2-step. We're going to divide both sides by 2. Oop, I ran out of room, so I'm going to bring down. Letter brings down, symbol falls down, number falls down. So the question says, what are the possible widths of the banner? The widths can be less than 6 feet. Now, could they be exactly 6 feet? They could. The width could be exactly 6 feet, but no more, right? 6 is the greatest. So this is what I would be looking for. The width is at least, or is at most, excuse me, I said that wrong, at most 6 feet in length. All right. Thanks for sticking with me. Again, if you need to go back and re-listen, especially to those special cases and the special rules, make sure you do that. As always, make sure you check Google Classroom for what your task is after this lesson. If you are struggling with solving, we need to get into the Saber Center. We need to be asking if we can stay after school. We need to be doing something because the solving is the base of everything we're going to do this year. So it's so important. So let me know what you need, and until next time, have a good one.